Hello everyone, this is Fr.Lamb and today is August 24th. And today is actually the feast of St. Bartholomew. St. Bartholomew is one of the 12 disciples, and his name is mentioned in the three synoptic gospels, Matthew, Mark, and Luke. And also he's mentioned in John's gospel under the name of Nathanael. And scholars believe that Nathanael and Bartholomew are actually the same person. And what I love about about Bartholomew, Nathanael in John is what Jesus says about him. And I'd like to actually share a few verses of the scriptures with you. So this is the gospel according to St. John chapter 1, and it begins with verse 45. Philip found Nathanael, and he told him, "We have found the one about whom Moses wrote in the law, and also the prophets, Jesus, son of Joseph from Nazareth." But Nathanael said to him, "Can anything good come from Nazareth?" And Philip said to him, "Come and see." And Jesus saw Nathanael coming toward him, and he said of him, "Here is a true child of Israel. There's no duplicity in him." I love two things in here. One, what I like is that Philip's telling Nathanael, we have found the Messiah, and Nathanael is not impressed, because he's from Nazareth. Can anything good come from Nazareth? That's a little hick town, And Philip doesn't argue with him. Philip invites him into a relationship with Christ. He simply says, "Come and see." And that's really what evangelization is all about. When you and I sometimes get down, like people aren't practicing their faith or coming to church, and what do you do about that? We invite people into a relationship with Christ. And then you let Christ and that person have a relationship, and then it goes from there. And it's really a beautiful thing that Philip says to him, "Come and see." And that's really the invitation for all of us. Come into a deeper relationship with Christ. But it's kind of funny that when Jesus finally meets him or hears about him, he says about Nathanael, "Here's a true child of Israel. There's no duplicity in him." No duplicity. One scholar or translation says there's no guile in him. Another word would be there's no deceit in him. Because see, when we deceive people, what we're doing is we're misrepresenting the truth. And that really is our whole culture, right? You want to get at the truth, but everybody puts their spin on it. So you wonder sometimes watching the news, like, what's the truth? One side says it this way, another side says it that way, and you wonder, what's the truth? Where can I find the truth? And it's a beautiful thing to say about a person that there's no duplicity in him. That person, whoever that person is truthful. Do you know somebody like that? I know quite a few. They always tell the truth. They're always honest. They're not lying to you, trying to deceive you. What a beautiful compliment to say about someone. There's no duplicity. There's no guile there. There's no deceit. It's a wonderful thing. Jesus Christ once said, "I am the way and the truth and the life." And we have a hard time with the truth in our culture, as I was just saying. When I think about that, I think about that movie. There's this epic scene in the movie, A Few Good Men. Have you ever seen that movie? There's a lawyer there who's played by Tom Cruise. I think it's Lieutenant J.G. Caffey. And he's interrogating, or he's questioning Jack Nicholson, who's playing a Colonel Jessup, I think his name is. And Colonel Jessup ultimately was responsible for ordering this code red. And it basically was hazing. So there was a recruit there that was causing some problems, and he gave the order to haze this man. And unfortunately, it led to his death. So that's why he's on trial there. And this exchange is very poignant and there's anger going back and forth. And at a certain point, Caffey, played by Tom Cruise, is shouting at him, "I want the truth. I want the truth." And then Jack Nicholson yells back, "You can't handle the truth." Do we have a hard time in our culture handling the truth? Like, what is the truth? The devil has been called the father of lies. And so often in our culture, it's really hard for us to get to the truth. And even sometimes, we have a hard time telling the truth to certain people. Do you ever hear someone say, "Well, I told a little white lie"? And I know what they mean. What it means is it's something kind of innocent. You don't want to hurt the person's feelings, so you kind of lie about it, I can't make your dinner this weekend because I have other plans. You may not have plans at all. You just don't want to go, and you're trying not to hurt their feelings. But I remember one time a priest responded to this when he heard about white lies, and he said, "White lies. He said, I didn't know they came in different colors. We need to be people of truth. But here's the thing. We need to speak the truth in love. Truth spoken without love can be brutality. It can be abusive. And sometimes you can nail somebody with the truth and then walk away and think, well, I was just telling the truth. That can be kind of brutal. Is there somebody in your life right now that you need to tell the truth to, but you're hesitant? Someone that you need to have a difficult conversation with them? We all have those moments where we need to do that. And what we need to do is we need to invite Jesus, who is the truth, into the situation, into our hearts, and ask him to help us to say this information to that person so it's fruitful. How is this information, this truth that I'm going to say to this person, how's that going to be received by them? Am I going to slam it in their face? Or am I going to say it in love? Put myself into their shoes. How would I feel if someone was sharing this truth with me? And so it's a whole different thing. Like maybe an example would be someone you know is like drinking too much or they're taking drugs and you're worried about them. You could go into their presence and go, you need to stop taking drugs, and that's it. And they're just going to get defensive. Or you can go into their presence and say, I really love you and you mean a lot to me. And I'm really worried for you. And I've noticed that you're taking drugs and I really want to help in this situation because I care about you. And allow that truth that's spoken to land on fertile ground. And when we speak truth in love and we speak truth in compassion, we don't know how it's going to be received. They can react in many different ways. But as long as we're speaking the truth from our heart in love, then we've done what Jesus Christ wants us to do. And then that person, though, needs to take that truth and kind of chew on it for a while and see what they're going to do about what's going on in their life. Truth. What is the truth? Maybe this week, if there's someone in our lives that we need to speak the truth to, we might ask God to help us. Invite Jesus in first before talking to the person. In fact, why not invite in St. Bartholomew, St. Nathanael to help, the person who has no guile, deceit in him, to help you speak the truth. So often in life, you wonder, like, where's God? Where's God in all of this? The craziness, the chaoticness of life. Well, what we need to ask is, what's the truth? Because when you and I have found the truth in a situation, then we have found God. God bless you.